So, Runaway Railway is open. I've already, there's a couple thousand words on the internet that I've already written about this thing. I'd like to hear from other people. Let's start down there with the ladies. Colleen, what do you think of Runaway Railway? Yep, Puppet Colleen.
Just by fault, we go to you.
I actually really agreed with something Pete said.
What?
Hey, I like it.
He was saying on the day, he was like, if you think of it as its own ride and don't think of it as it replaced the great movie ride, then you'll feel better. I thought it was cute. Like, I enjoyed it, and, you know, it was fun. I really liked the, like, going into a cartoon and the screen exploding. You know, that was cute.
Oh, by the way, spoilers. There will be, there will be spoilers on tonight's show.
Really at the beginning. So, like, the Mickey animatronic, especially the one in the car, I mean, Mickey and Minnie, if you're not looking at them straight on, they do look real creepy and weird. Like, just not right. They don't look quite right. The ride's a bit fast, and like, you go through the rooms really fast, and, you know, you're kind of like, wait, what was their rooms? I didn't even see Mickey and Minnie. They were talking, but, like, I don't know where they were because there was so much other stuff going on. I really liked the Daisy scene. That was really cute. But generally, I liked it. I thought it was cute. I will ride it again. Yeah.
All right. Allison?
Hello.
Welcome to the show also.
Yay,
Thank you.
Welcome, Allison.
I'm very pleased to be here. So yes, I was only able to ride it once because it was down a little bit when I was at studios, but was able to go on. And I feel very mixed about the ride. I like the technology, and the mapping was very well done, but what Colleen was saying, how everything was very fast, I know that that's sort of the reasoning behind the ride. That's a runaway railway, but I felt that when I was going into each scene, there's so much to take in, which has its benefits and drawbacks. You go in and there's a lot of hidden Mickeys in this attraction, and if you go back, you can try to search for those. But upon just going in there for the first time, I felt like I missed a lot of it because there's so much happening, and you go past each scene very, very quickly. With that being said, I did think a lot of it was cute. There were a lot of really nice details that they put in there. When you transition from one scene to another, there were a few nice hidden things in there, such as there were plaques above the archways that had like 1928 and 1901, which were very nice references. They put some things in there that were throwbacks from past movies and attractions, like there's one scene, I think it was the Twister scene, where the rain is from Bambi. I think that was the same sound effect from there, so that was a nice little hidden Easter egg in there, which is kind of cool.
I like the brave little tailor shop.
Mm-hmm. I feel mixed with the Daisy scene. I like that with the trackless ride, they can do something that, like a roller coaster, for example, can't do that particular thing. I've felt it was kind of a little out of the middle of nowhere because everything else is like chaos, big screens, and then Daisy is just kind of very plain, but the kind of dancing was nice. It was a nice nostalgic feel because when you first go in and you're starting to queue, it is the Chinese theater as it was, you know, 2.5 years ago, so I felt a nice little nostalgia when I first walked in there. It was very nice. But I thought it was fine. I thought it was cute. It's definitely not my favorite attraction.
Eric?
First of all, I liked it. I enjoyed it. I thought it was fun. Number one, I would say it's like the opposite of what this park needs, right? The park needs like a 20-minute long ride. It seems like every ride in the studios right now is like 3 or 4 minutes long, except Rise of Resistance. And it needs something that can eat more people, I think, or take up more time because, I mean, obviously when it opens, you're going to be in line for a long time, but it just, and like Colleen was talking about, you know, it goes by, or they both were saying, hey, it goes by really fast, there's all kinds of stuff. They need something slower because they're limited by the amount of real estate they have, right? And what they need, the Great Movie Ride, one great thing about it was very long. It could eat a lot of people. So with the same amount of real estate, you're eating like I don't know, a quarter of the time that you used to be able to eat with the Great Movie Ride, and it makes the whole rest of the park, it causes problems in the whole rest of the park. So part of my issue with the ride is actually just that it's in the wrong park.
Well, let's have that discussion now.
But, right.
Let's have the
okay,
park
okay.
discussion.
Okay.
Because, like, the whole thing with this expansion, they're like, oh, there's going to be more to do. Finally, there's going to be stuff to do at Hollywood Studios. But there's not. Because you just lost a lot of time. You lost Lights, Motors, Action, which was, what, 30-something minutes long.
it was long.
Yeah.
You waited for it.
Yeah.
You lost the Backlot Tour, which even
was-
at its shortest was 30 minutes long.
It was over an hour.
You lost a lot of stuff back there that was lengthy, and in total, you didn't add that. You added more rides to this park. You didn't add more attractions, and you didn't add more time. So you added more things. You definitely, I'm not going to argue, you absolutely added things that people want to see more than what was there. Like, that's not arguable. But we're seeing these, like, triple-digit wait times for everything, which to me indicates we didn't fix any. I don't know what's that. Jessica's being walked in by Pete.
Hello.
Jessica's going to join us for the segment also.
I rode the ride.
You did ride the ride.
You're gonna use Colleen White.
But yeah, so like I think there's this big problem with Hollywood Studios where they said, oh, we've expanded the park, but you haven't. There isn't more to do. Again, I think there's more that people want to do, but there's not actually more to do. Does everyone agree with that?
Yeah, that's my main beef with it, right? Is there's, like you said, I mean, we've covered it, but I wish there was something that took more time, especially if you have small kids. They don't want to ride Slinky Dog Dash. Maybe they're scared of roller coasters. They're not going to ride Tower of Terror. They're not going to ride Rock and Roller Coaster. They're not going to get up early enough to go see Rise of the Resistance, right? So they're going to be inevitably the pilot on my Millennium Falcon ride, where they're bashing into everything, and they're going to do this and maybe the Lightning McQueen and the Voyage of the Little Mermaid, and that's it, right? And well, I guess there's Toy Story Mania, which again some kids may or may not enjoy, but
I think now Toy Story Mania is the least violent ride in the park. Is that fair?
He's violent.
Like the least violent movements of anything in the park. Like it's the
Yeah.
most like family. Not saying that
Probably
Runaway
so.
Railway isn't, but actually Jessica was having the conversation with me earlier today that like you said your parents wouldn't go on Runaway Railway.
Yeah, see, I don't know. Like, I was like, my dad's really into trains. We loved Great Movie Ride. Like, my parents don't really ride anything. They're just really old. No, I have like abnormally
But it's
old
super
parents.
early.
And they don't, they have glasses. They're like, oh, I can't lose my glasses.
Glasses.
No, they were like, oh.
They sound so different from everyone else there.
All our parents are
I'm
lazy.
far into this
So
concept.
Great Movie Ride, was a great, like, not only do I love classic movies, I can go on a rant about Turner Classic Movies, but it was like a really nice family thing, because like your parents would be like, oh, I saw that movie when it came out, and the kids would kind of tell them, I don't know, like it was.
Were they pointing at like the Busby Berkeley movies?
Mom,
My
was that
dad.
you in Footlight
Yeah,
Parade?
Yeah.
When I was your
And
age.
also, it was just like a slow-moving ride. There was no turbulence. I didn't have to like worry about them like gripping the chair. And that I was thinking about taking them to Runaway Railway. I don't think I can because they're gonna like die.
There's no height restriction on this either,
No,
right?
let's be honest.
So-
it's not that
It's
bad.
not that bad.
But there are
It's
points
really
where you
not.
definitely
The
get
car
moved.
shakes a bit.
When they do what I call like a more violent Luigi Roadster, like they
Rollickin' Roadster.
Yeah, the Rollickin' Roadsters. There's a tango scene and everything else where it does move you around pretty fast. And since you're not in individual seats and you're on bench seating, you do slide a bit back and forth. And the lap bar is only going down as far
Yeah,
as
like
the
we're
biggest
large
person.
men. So
Yeah.
like I know
So
it's
if
like
it's me,
there were
you and
tiny
me,
women
she's
sit with us and they're
sliding right
they're
out.
just going like
Yeah.
this across the
Yeah,
vehicle.
if it's me and you, forget about it.
That's why the smallest person needs to go in the corner.
So they can fly out.
No, you get that wall
So
of
Pete
protection.
can slide into him against the
yeah.
wall.
Yeah, you
But
get
yeah,
that
you
wall
hit-
of
you hit
protection
the
to hold
wall.
on tight. I did grip the outside of the ride the first time I went on it because I was moving and then we were in a whole row of everyone had cameras up and I was like, I'm gonna take out this little skinny dude next to me. I gotta hold on, and I just like
a
elbowed.
train full of
I
vloggers.
locked myself in pretty
That
tight.
would have been the happiest derailment on earth.
I'm sure it would have.
Can we talk about
Has anyone?
Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, has anyone talked about how like? So I got to ride it twice in 2 different vehicles, the first car and the third car, and they were very different experiences for me.
Oh, they're all pretty different.
Yeah, they're all very different.
But that's
for
like
sure.
the thing with the trackless ride. Like Mystic Manor, you see completely different things based on. Now there are scenes you go into individually. Each car goes into individually, and you see like the same thing. But there are things that certainly in some rooms you don't. So I'm thinking like the second to last scene in Mystic Manor. There's this part where there's these pieces of Chinese art on the wall, these tapestries, and a panda flies out of one and into another. But you only see it if you're in the first 2 cars that go into that room, and there's some of that is going on here. It's not as organic, I think, because things seem to just be looping. Like
Yeah.
I noticed, like
Also, if you're in that last car, even when that first car comes out, the Mickey or animatronic, quote unquote, like the dialogue starts as you're pulling into the room, so you miss the first few lines if you're in that back
if you're
car.
several cars
Yeah,
back, it's hard to tell what's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah,
sure.
Goofy's
Like, Goofy's just
oh,
playing
can
on the
everyone hear me?
speaker.
And I'm like, no, bro, I can't see Goofy. Like,
Oh, there's things happening.
Don't
adjustments.
because
What?
you're totally away from the
You should
microphone.
totally look at me.
So I think that
It's
that
just
would
that
be
we've
hard to
only
do.
done
I'm a handsome
126 of these.
Nothing
handsome
can
guy.
stop us
Don't
now.
look away.
Well, I'm little things. Just look at the
What?
cameras. Don't look at
All right, I'll
It's
talk
2.5
As usual,
D.
the show
there.
isn't working.
What were you gonna bring up before?
I
You
want to talk about the Daisy thing.
Okay, go ahead.
Because I know a lot of people thought that was like a highlight, and I thought that was the part that broke all the continuity of the ride. Because the whole rest of the ride is very bright and kind of like there's some luminescent paint and there's all this stuff going on, and you go into a dark room that's like a plain dance studio with some posters.
But the
And there's
posters are
Daisy,
really
and she doesn't look
cool.
like any of the rest of the animatronic characters that are on the, or what are we calling these things?
Yeah, they're just called, they're animatronics with like.
And I felt like I was being like corralled into an area while they stall to set up, there's, hey, the next room is full, so let's keep them busy for, 40 seconds or whatever, however long you're in there. I don't have a problem with that on its own, but within the context of the ride, it didn't fit the rest of the ride to me.
Throwing shade at the
No, but
Daisy.
I just didn't feel like it
I
fit.
would agree that
I
it's not that I
like
just like
the
it.
Daisy scenes.
It's not that I don't like it. It's just it does feel like a filler. Like all of a sudden you're in this chaotic place. Then all of a sudden you're like just in a dance studio. Everything's fine.
And it doesn't look or feel
here's
like
the
the rest of the
problem.
ride.
But have you
Space.
looked at the posters though?
Yeah,
There's a
we-
poster for Donald Quixote.
Oh, Donald
Yeah.
Quixote, Firebird.
They're
They're
really
cute,
cute.
yeah.
Always
Here's-
like something I like doing. It literally just I know like the first few ride throughs you're gonna just want to experience it like a normal human being. But if you turn around and you actually try to like look at the full room, which you might not see when you're just being like tossed everywhere, you notice some kind of cool details. I don't know.
I agree. I'm not disputing that it's cute. I'm just saying it didn't seem to fit the rest of the ride, the style of the ride.
Here's the thing, though. I think the Daisy scene is more of what the ride should have been. Having been on all the other trackless rides, they play into being trackless rides. And there's a lot of times in Runaway Railway where I'm like, you didn't really think about this being a trackless ride. It's almost as if it's getting real cheap to produce these trackless rides, so every dark ride's just going to be trackless out of budget. And the first thing I thought about, and someone brought up to me, was the Twister scene. Every other trackless ride I've been on, all I can imagine is, the cars are gonna circle this Twister. We're gonna go around the Twister. We don't. We just go past it. It's just on the side. I'm like,
It's an
this is a
afterthought.
trackless ride. You could go like all around things. You literally have a circular show scene, and you've chosen to just glide past it. I don't understand. That's why I like the Daisy scene, because we're like, all right, we're in a cartoon. We burst into a building. It's a dance studio. This is funny and cute, and you're making use of trackless ride technology to do wacky things, which I think don't happen in a lot of other scenes. I think there's the stampede scene, which you don't even get that's the idea, is that you're like cattle like stampeding. No one even understands that because you just broke off the track, and it's like you see 2 seconds of Mickey and Minnie with lassos, and you're supposed to get all this nuance is supposed to make sense to you in 2 seconds.
Yeah. If we want to pull apart like scenes, like you hate the Daisy scene, well, the end scene. Obviously, I've been writing about like the scene by scene synopsis for like the past like year.
Oh
and a half.
yeah,
We've
remember
only
that
had
synopsis from
Yeah.
2 years ago? That
We've
was
only
right.
had the full ride storyline up since 2017, but If I hadn't like known that and read it beforehand, that final scene, the furnace scene, do you really have time to like realize what?
I have
is
no
going
idea what
on?
was happening.
I couldn't process it.
I was on it twice.
I didn't
still have
realize
no
until
idea.
we sat in the last car that we're getting pulled into the furnace.
Right.
Yeah.
Then they
I didn't
defeat the
understand because
furnace.
then I could see all the cars doing it. I'm like, oh, okay.
And then Goofy's like, "We made it."
We
or
made it.
whatever.
You're like,
You're
what
happened? What'd you do? What'd
Yeah.
you do? How do we?
I didn't feel
That was
in peril
a
at
good
all.
idea.
I didn't
Yeah.
feel scared for a moment.
There's not enough. That's what the Daisy scene does have. It establishes what's going on. Okay, you're in a dance scene. This is what's going on. Then you're gonna dance. There, it's like, oh, it's a furnace. Okay, no, everything's
It's
all
the
right.
first scene
All right,
that
bye.
can breathe, and because it has time to breathe, you understand what's going on. The other scene, I think that works pretty well, at least depending on where you're sitting, is the tunnel. I don't like the animatronics, but it does at least set up what's happening. Like I understand that they hit the track switch and we're coming off the rails. Like I finally understand what's happening, and then it's everything in between that, where it's like, what?
I
What if
also
they
know
had-
that we're definitely on a picnic in the last scene. It's
There-
definitely,
We were stuck there,
It's very astute, Peter.
and I don't know where the bird comes into it at all.
No, I don't
understand if
understand Chubby, and there's this whole thing about it being the set because they marketed. They're like, oh, there's two storylines, and it's like, oh, there's the main story, and then there's something with this bird, and I keep looking everywhere in every scene, and I'm like, no, the bird's it's on top of a tunnel, and then it's in a barn. I don't know what else this bird's doing. I can't find it.
Maybe
It's
he
not
was
clear.
shoved in the trunk too.
Maybe it got changed because let's not
The
forget the
bird
ride.
caused the mayhem.
The ride was supposedly delayed by story issues. They rewrote a bunch of stuff. So I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, it doesn't. To me, it wasn't one big story. It did just feel like I was in random shorts.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
what I felt like for me. And not that it was bad. Like there were scenes where I was like, oh, that's cool to look at, and that's interesting, and this is fun. And I did like the wind effects that pulling you into the twister, and that was neat. It was very cool tech that way for me. But yes, if
It's
this was
not one of these cases where
if
we.
this was one story, I didn't get that.
It's not one of these cases where we come on and we're like, oh, no one cared and it was budget cut to death. I think clearly people tried. I think clearly there was an effort.
Yeah.
And it's not a bad ride. I just think there certainly were things they could have done better. I think from a storytelling standpoint, I think some of the animatronics are definitely weak. I don't know that for a big Disney attraction, an attraction of this size, it lacks a lot of the wow that I expect from. I feel like every other trackless ride I've been on, there's some sort of wow. There's always a moment in the ride where you're like, this has never been done before. This is really cool. I feel like they thought it was going to be that factory scene when it transforms. And it's if you sit like in the front car, you don't even know what happened. Like it just looks like the room broke and went blue. It's like, oh, did we get the blue screen of death? I don't understand.
There are some cool effects. It's a shame that it goes by so quickly.
Yeah.
If
You
they
can't
were
even
to,
see the full transition of that room.
if they were to
Yeah.
dial back the speed of the scenes, not only would you have a longer ride, you'd let people take everything in. There's a really cool effect in that last scene, as you know, despite all of the complaints we have about it. There's like a tree, like there's like this thing that turns into a tree in the park. I forget what it is originally, but I'm like, that's a cool effect. It just like folds up, and all of a sudden it takes a different shape.
Yeah,
So like there's like some really neat hidden like gags and like effects here that are lost on just how quick everything happens.
And I think a lot of that depends on, like I was saying, what car you're in, because that tree effect I noticed for sure the first time I rode it. But then the second time I rode it, I was like, I didn't even see it. I just saw it closing up as I was pulling into the room. So I totally understand what you're saying. That some things are so fast that, to me, that's the only rewritability is, I mean, again, there is some rewritability. This might get tired over time, but if you can get different cars, it is a different ride dramatically for me.
Yeah. If you're a fan of the if you're a fan of the actual shorts, like I love Turner Classic Movies, but I also have
Yeah.
DVDs of all of the shorts, the Mickey shorts that made up like the ride and the Mickey Shorts Theater. And there's like a lot of cool, like when you're underwater, that's the Wonders of the Deep like short, and the music is just like that. Everything like matches up, and you're like, I'm actually in it. Like I'm in this episode. It's really neat in that sense.
I think it's worth pointing out that a lot of people really that I talked to or that I was with loved it.
Yeah.
There was the you know, when Pete and I wrote it, there was the car behind us came in just cheering, hooting, and hollering. They thought it was the best thing they'd ever ridden. My girlfriend loved it, adored it, thought it was cute, was laughing and giggling the whole time.
I liked it a lot too. Like even like we're giving it criticism because that's our job here on the show. But I feel like I liked it too. I think it's a fun ride. It's not the best ride. Like I didn't get off it saying like I have to fly my family in to do this immediately. It's the best ride they ever built. But it's a fun little attraction. It's not the best ride Disney's ever made, but it's a cool little attraction. Like I said, and Colleen brought up earlier, what I put in our little company chat after I did it was, if you completely forgot that this was the Great Movie Ride building, if this was just in any other space that was brand new, it's a cool new ride.
Only Walt Disney World had real estate. It's just that we're landlocked.
Something they're lacking.
I'll take Blessing of Sighs for 700.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a shame because, you know, the other hard thing about trackless rides is you know, they have to stick to a certain shape. You know,
yes.
you can't change the shape of a trackless ride, you know. You gotta lay it out the same exact way every time. That's a majority of the problem. I think the rule of theme parks is when you replace anything, whatever replaces it has to be better.
Yeah.
That is the rule of theme park. It doesn't matter if you're Disney or Universal or Six Flags. Doesn't matter because people, your audience always remembers what was there before. So, you know, like even in the case of Six Flags, if they knock down a roller coaster, whatever roller coaster they put up next needs to be better than what was there. And I don't believe that Runaway Railway is better. I don't even think it's level with Great Movie Ride. I think Great Movie Ride in 1989 versus Runaway Railway in 2020 is no argument that Great Movie Ride was the bigger game changer, the more interesting concept.
For sure, but I mean, I think we can both agree that it definitely needed a refurb, though. The way it was and the condition it was.
I've never said
end.
it didn't. We had a whole show where we talked about like what movies we would have swapped in, and like absolutely, I do not believe like that. A ride through the movies where each scene is a different movie was literally made for you to go in and swap out scenes over time.
Yeah.
It's literally.
I drove to Orlando once just to ride Great Movie Ride.
Huh?
I literally came one time. It was like a few years ago, obviously before it closed. I think it was like 2015. I just drove up one day. I'm like, I really missed the Great Movie Ride, and I drove up just to ride the Great Movie Ride, and then I went home, like to Miami.
When I moved here, one of the things I thought about was, oh, that's great. Like every week, I'm just going to go to studios. I'm going to ride the Great Movie Ride, and then I moved here, and I felt like, you know, not much longer after, I was like, well, I'm losing that.
Think about all the attractions at the studios that had actors or cast members that had speaking roles that you interacted with. I mean, they're all gone. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess a cast member has like one speaking line.
They like, it was
pre-show.
like a throwback.
I mean, like when well, it's part of the queue, but like when they play a part on that ride, and I like that. I think that is what charmed me and that ride the most, which is why I love that attraction with the very little knowledge of Star Wars that I have. Because I see cast members in character. When those doors open and they're just like standing in the doorway, they're in full character. I love that. When they're lining you up against the wall, don't touch that. You know, it's just fun. There's that element of fun, and that's what I think a lot of people loved about the Great Movie Ride.
I just think I'm scared for the future with rides like this, and that everyone's so happy with them. I'm scared because I don't think this is the best we can do. I think we've become reliant on projections and screens, and I think we watch, you know, in the same company, the Oriental Land Company very clearly, you know, works with Walt Disney Imagineering, and those are the same people that do everything that opens in the U.S. parks in Hong Kong and Shanghai. And the fact that they're doing this Beauty and the Beast ride, and they were like, you know, even though the standard for Disney the last couple of years has been, oh, we're going to do the screen faces. This is an animated character. We're going to do the screen faces. Japan, they said no. They said we're going to pay for animatronic.
If you look at the pictures, in the previews
and
for
that's
Beauty and the
like
Beast,
the screen faces started as a thing that was like, we need to do them. Like for the dwarfs, they're small. It was going to be hard to animate the faces, and they knew there was a dark environment. They're like, we're gonna do the dwarfs. It makes sense. The beards will hide where the screen ends, and then for cars, they were like, okay, some characters have a bumper where the mouth is. Those characters we're going to articulate, but Lightning McQueen's mouth is just in the middle of this flat surface. We're going to have to project the mouth, and the same with Sally and a couple other characters, and so. Instead of like it being like, oh, now when we need to do it, if it's going to look better, we can do it. It's become, oh, that was actually the Lightning McQueen figure was a lot cheaper than Mater. And, you know, we could do, all right, so if we're doing the Frozen ride, Olaf was super expensive, but if we do the human characters with screen faces, oh, that's a little cheaper. We can do that.
I feel like they should use it as a creative option or tool where they could not use something else otherwise. This is something that they can go to. But I feel like now I'm seeing so much of it, they're using it as a crutch rather than a creative tool or an option that they can use.
Yeah, I think it's the same with projection in general. I think.
I was gonna say, like, and you know, like, we're very much on the same page. Where a big reason I'm not in love with Universal is it's a lot of screen rides.
Yeah.
I don't like screen rides. I don't like rides that force you to wear some kind of glasses. I like to actually be in the environment and feel like I'm there. The only, kind of plus I can give this is that at least there's different dimension of the screens in a lot of those scenes.
Yeah.
It's not like you're pulling
and it's
one big screen.
Yeah.
They make the screens are a little, like they say, like, 2D.
Yeah.
Because you get a little of that dimension and
2.5D.
It's
Two
cool.
and a half.
It's
D.
cool, yeah.
I like that. I think that's
Yeah.
very creative. At least that they're trying to add some kind of extra depth to it.
It's got some different stuff to it. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Okay, but the fact that the Goofy screen just cuts off at the top,
Yeah,
though.
it's square and a rounded window.
They could
Yeah.
have just made it round. It would have been fine. But like any
Yeah.
angle, you're just seeing. I'm like, bro, that's just like a Toshiba behind the train. Like, I can't.
Toshiba.
I like that you dropped Toshiba.
No,
it could have been
it's-
Sony. It could have been anything.
No, it's that classic Universal effect. It's the clear surface. You're projecting Goofy on the clear surface, and there's a screen behind him with another background.
It's not.
The old
It's a bad
Universal
look.
trick. What happened to Colleen?
Colleen, this is hiding. Well, you know, there's
Colleen
a chair
doesn't want
there,
to talk
too.
about the ride.
busy.
anymore. Colleen- Okay.
Colleen's back at work.
I respect that.
I respect
We
that.
traded spots.
Oh, what was I gonna say? I was gonna say something about what you were saying.
The 2D on the screens. I mean, again, like, so what I was going to say is what you have me scared about. I've never got to do Ratatouille in.
Oh, I was gonna say,
is that
you
looks
know,
like-
I hate Ratatouille.
Yes.
I wouldn't compare Ratatouille to this. I
That's
think
what
that
I'm
would
saying,
be
is that
mean.
You have told me
to
that that's
Runaway
just like
Railway,
one
yeah.
big screen. You could see the floor.
No,
And
they like
here-
thought about it. It's
And that's
clear
what I'm
like
saying
they
is
heard
here-
that complaint and they were like, oh, we'll put a starfish and some stuff on the edge.
Because I was waiting, 'cause I'm like, this is my first screen ride, and then like you had scared me about Ratatouille, so I was like, no, it actually is authentic. I feel
No,
like
they listen
my
to
eyes
feedback.
Don't draw,
they don't,
yeah.
you know, they don't live, you know, they listen to what people say, whether it's on the internet, in surveys or whatever. And obviously when they got into this ride, they're like, okay, the one thing we're going to avoid, let's not have the screen edges like Ratatouille. Let's avoid that. So I will say, as much as this is not my favorite ride, I like it much more than Ratatouille. Ratatouille I dislike. As I said before, I think Runaway Railway, in my opinion, is just fine. It's okay.
I think kids will like it, and I think
Yeah.
kids would like this more than they would like the Great Movie Ride. You know, small
That's
kids,
fair.
or even people who've seen the Great Movie Ride too many times. I like this more because there is a lot to take in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. There's a lot to see, and it's different every time, and it's going to be popular. The ride's going to
yeah.
be around for a
Yeah.
while, and it's going to be very popular. You know, I think it's technological achievement is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know, you're right. It could have been better. But
Yeah.
It's not that. I mean, like we're being very critical because we're giving it a full review. But overall, like I did have a feeling of happiness when I got off the ride. It was.
Oh, I didn't.
It was a feel good ride.
we knew that.
It was. It was
When did
nice.
you-
There
There's
are
cool
there are
effects.
moments
I
where
love the
I was like,
pre-show.
oh, that's cute. I like that. I like the exit. It's gonna sound bad.
No,
I like
like the
exiting
leaving.
back through the screen
loved
and the
that
fact that they
running around.
like they knew
leaving.
like, oh, we
That was
opened those
cute.
gates here to come in, so those gates have to be there, even though we're not gonna close them. Those gates have to be there again. And like,
Your favorite part was getting off the ride. Yeah, leaving.
No, it really is true. Like, we said that when we were getting
It's a
off.
cute
'cause I, like,
effect.
when we went through, because when we first went on, it was very early in the morning, so I had the Imagineers there clapping, and Kevin Rafferty, and Ms. Jones, and Josh Tomorrow, and everyone else.
everyone's there.
The
whole gang.
So when we walked out, the only reason we really turned around was to kind of see that fanfare going on behind us, and that's when we noticed that the end on the screen, that you walk back through the
Yeah.
screen that you entered through. And that effect is super cool. That to me is like
It's not even an effect. It's a wall.
It's a wall, but I mean,
It's
like,
a wall
that-
with a light on it.
It's
but
an effect when you go in.
It's thoughtful.
It's
It's
effect.
My
cute.
immersion.
But can we talk about how cool that effect is when you walk in? Like that was all. Everyone in
liked
our
that a
room
lot.
Oh, the pre-show.
was
I
like,
love the
love.
pre-show.
I
Yeah.
love the pre-show.
Yeah.
I like the song. I like the effect. I like the interaction with the cast member.
Yeah.
That to me feels quintessentially Disney. I like the whole lead up. everything falls apart for me when the train goes forward.
Yeah, I get it.
That's when I lose the ride.
I also really like
because even the
that-
train
yeah.
pulls in, like the things on the wheels are going and the bell is dinging, and I'm like, okay,
And
this
even-
is cool.
You mentioned it in your article, but like how they transform you into the cartoon world. When you're in that little queue right before you get on the train, how even the physical set pieces are drawn and have little touches to make it feel like a cartoon. Like
Yeah.
I pointed out
It
to
looks
you,
sketched.
or whatever we
The
wrote the second
railings, I like
time.
the railings.
Yeah, I like it. Even the lights, that like because on all these attractions you have the lights to go, stop, the red and green,
Yeah.
but they're drawn in to make it look like they're cartoon.
They're also hitting Mickey's.
I love
in the
that.
lights,
Yeah,
which is cool.
that is
noticed that
super
too.
neat. I love that
I
kind
like
of
that.
stuff.
Even
They're
the trash
thoughtful
cans are
touches.
just
They're
those.
absolutely thoughtful touches.
You won't
yeah.
see those trash cans anywhere else.
The trash cans in the load area
Yes.
are really cute.
They're awesome.
I love the cast, not the outside cast costume. I don't like the Chinese
We
theater.
talked about this last night
They're
too.
reversible.
But it reverses. It's the vest reverses into the other one, and then they just put on the hat and the handkerchief, which I love the conductor outfit. It's
Yeah,
very cool.
I said that in the morning, and again when we were with you, I was like, "How
Yeah.
awesome are these costumes?" And you're
great.
like, "I don't like the outside ones, but the inside ones."
No, the
It's the
the outside
same
vest is
thing.
over. It's gaudy. It's weird. But the Run Amok Railroad costume is adorable. And because we're in this, I feel like we're in this era of bad cast costumes. Like we had Toy Story Land, which is the worst costume ever. And even in California, they changed the Toy Story Mania costume, which they were great before. And so I just always feel like every costume's been like a downgrade lately. And then Railway, I was like, oh, that's cute. I like that. Yeah. Other thoughts, impressions?
I like
Nick, what'd you think?
Nick didn't write it yet. Nick's been fixing the
I
audio for
wanted Nick to
25
be like, I
minutes.
absolutely love it.
Are we working now? Can
Absolutely
people hear the
loved
show?
it. I think everyone can hear everyone. We're good.
I think so. I don't know what I
Okay.
sound like because I gave you my mic.
I should just give both of
What
you
happened to
mics.
my mic?
I'll grab
Just
one of your
dead,
mics.
if we don't know?
Your mic
Okay.
just decided it wasn't a good
I
thing.
think the Erics broke it. The Erics broke my
Never
mic
know.
when they did News Today.
You should just have my mic, and I'll either get picked up on yours or yours.
You know what I think happened to the mic? I think
know what happened.
I think someone threw a blueberry pie at it and it exploded.
Exploded. The
Oh,
blueberry
I thought I
pie.
was talking about sabotage.
Tell people about the blueberry pie because I love that they created a dessert just for.
Are we really gonna stop and talk about this blueberry
We're
pie?
talking about the
Did
pie.
you have it today?
I haven't had it. I gotta.
You were
I'm
the
going
one.
back tomorrow.
We get this anger.
Yeah, I saw the
Kevin
review.
and I get this message. It's like there's a blueberry pie at the Trolley Treats, which #1 Trolley Treats is at DCA, Disney Food Blog. Wrong part.
They even linked to it.
They linked to the DCA. We won't get into this now. It's not nice.
Okay.
But they made a blueberry pie at the Starbucks to celebrate the ride because it's a blueberry pie that flies into the train. And it's actually good. I was really surprised. It's great. It is one of the best counter service snacks I've had in maybe ever. It's really very
Yeah.
good.
So the
A
fact that they
fresh
created like a
pie.
little treat that goes with the game, that goes with the
Something's
ride.
gonna be in that puppet theater at some point. I feel like.
Colleen just gonna pop up.
Actually, if you freeze frame the show, there's a secret message in the puppet theater. It says Trolley Treats is not in Hollywood
Says
Studios.
he was looking
Look
at
real
you,
close,
kid.
kids. All right, pull it away.
All right.
That was it. You just want to talk about the pie?
Now I look bad. 'cause
I think it's really
I said I was
cute.
doing the cameras in the chat, and now you made me look bad, Nick.
There weren't
You
any
made me
Rise
look
of the
bad.
Resistance pies.
Rise of the Resistance didn't have a pie.
Oh,
That-
the rice pie was delicious.
I
It's
gotta
just
talk
a gray
about-
wall. Like
I do have to talk about. I have to talk about a Star Wars food later.
Yeah.
Not now, but later. Final thoughts on Runaway Railway? Can I go around and get everyone's quick hits? No.
Me?
Anything else? Yeah. I'm looking in your direction. Oh, Colleen's emerged.
I've emerged. I thought it was cute, and I liked it. But I do think it probably will make more sense in Toontown than it
Yeah.
made sense here.
Although we argued about that today because you're already in the cartoon world. I'm gonna go through a screen into another cartoon world. What's gonna?
Nah.
What? Oh God.
No, you're going into a theater.
A cartoon theater.
Or it would have made a lot of
You're
sense if
in
there was an
Toontown.
animation area.
Cartoonception.
If only there was still an animation area.
No, we needed that Disney Junior dance party.
Yeah.
That needed to survive.
The
Not
one
the Wizard of Oz ride, but keep the Disney Junior dance.
The stage they just hosed down.
What?
They just hosed down all of Disney Junior.
They don't hose that down.
It's for sanitary reasons.
What? What do you think happens in there?
I love it.
Kids
It's
put
because
their
like the
dirty
little
hands on the
kids,
floor.
because the little kids are on the carpeted area. Is that what you're talking about? And it's
Yeah.
just gross.
Disgusting.
You don't like hose down a carpet.
Anyway, my thoughts.
You have to rent a rug doctor.
How wet are your carpets?
The run amok rug doctor.
That's the next attraction. That's what's next.
You shrink down to the size of a vacuum?
Vacuums are already our size.
Like you're. I'm thinking of the ones that are robotic. The robotic ones. You know, the one bouncing in the corner and you're
That's
like,
still
"Ugh."
human-sized already.
So you're
Not if
telling
you're
us you want to
riding it.
ride a Roomba?
I want to ride a Roomba.
I think
trackless
Jessica can
ride.
already ride a Roomba. I think
Like
she's
the
already
little
got
cats.
that
Put a
scale.
cat on a Roomba and just have a go.
So that's trackless. That's the first ever trackless ride.
What, the Roomba? Actually, Universal Energy and the Great Movie Ride.
Yeah, I
were
hate
trackless,
that.
actually.
Wow. My thoughts. What I learned at boating school is.
Oh, go ahead.
Okay, so let's see. I love the Great Movie Ride. I will never stop loving the Great Movie Ride. I want to be back in the Great Movie Ride.
This is a Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway discussion.
Let her speak.
Yeah.
Cool. Well,
I
great
do-
review of
That's
Mickey and
it.
Minnie's Runaway Railway.
That's
No,
it. That's the
You know what
tweet.
happened today? So today I had ridden it, and then we're having lunch, and then we're like saying how we really feel about the ride, and then Tom says, "Don't look behind you."
Oh my
Sharita
God.
Carter, one of the the other Imagineer besides Kevin Rafferty, like the visual designer for like the whole ride, was behind us.
Perfect.
And I also love her. She happens to be one of my favorite Imagineers.
She's very
You know,
talented,
she's
yeah.
a very talented woman. So, you know, and I'm like, Tom, you don't tell someone when you come over and you have their food, you don't tell them that the food was bad, you know? So I went up to her and I told her, I'm like, look, I really appreciate your work. I still miss the Great Movie Ride, but
Wow.
I admire
Wow.
your work, and I do love seeing, even though obviously they closed it and that's why it was dead over there, but I do love seeing that area of the Chinese theater really invigorated. I've never seen that many people around there. Obviously, there was nothing to do there besides the handprints.
Did you if you
You
went
know
to
what I
the
really like?
closing, you
People
would have
noticing
seen
the
that many
handprints
people.
for the first time, which blew my
Yeah.
mind.
I
What are these
like
people
seeing
doing
it.
that they
I
never
know.
noticed the
I know.
handprint?
Not everyone do, Tom, but I mean, I appreciated that they finally got to notice it in line because they were like, oh, look. And I enjoy that they got to take that in, albeit it may be crazy for the first time.
Yeah.
No,
and
I'm glad people. It's a beautiful building, and I'm glad people get to appreciate. And they kept the lobby, which I think is wonderful.
Yeah.
It's always
Yeah.
it's a beautiful recreation. It's very nice. I'm glad it's alive.
I
Yeah.
love the Chinese theater. I love seeing that area just got a whole lot of love. And then, you know, if people like it, I'm not going to tell them that they're wrong for liking something. I think that's fine. I mean,
You should tell that to people yelling about me.
me and my family, we made a lot of memories on Great Movie Ride. I don't think we'll make many memories on Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, but I know that a lot of families now will, you know, and that's okay with me, I guess. It has to be. There's no going back.
Has to be.
That's it.
All right.
I guess my final thoughts are, I know that kids are going to enjoy it, and I know that it's an attraction that more individuals can do. What you were saying before, that there's a lot of people that can't do Tower of Terror or Rock and Roller Coaster, or maybe Star Tours because it shakes you around too much, or has like all these like different sorts of height
No,
requirements.
she was saying her parents are so old they can't do Runaway.
But they're
Because they
special.
have glasses.
Their glasses could fly off.
Do you have
Into
a
the
back
cartoon
condition?
world.
Are you
Yeah.
pregnant? Do you wear glasses?
Yeah.
Don't
All of
ride
the
this
above.
ride.
Minnie will step on them. She's very mean in the ride.
She kicks a dog.
You're ruining my jokes for later.
You can't talk about kicking dogs until the monologue.
Oh, then we
I
can
wrote
talk
those
about
jokes.
kicking dogs.
I think it does have a place in the park. I think some of it's very, very cute and very pretty. There's definitely some things that I wish were very different. I think the original concept, by Kimball, was that there was supposed to be kind of like a Mickey through the years, if I'm
Yeah.
correct
That
about that.
Footlight Parade Mickey.
Footlight Parade Mickey.
They
I
always
would
have
love
those
that
ears.
if they just like overlaid Disney characters
Oh
into
my
like Baymax singing in the rain. Like
I
don't
would
care,
see that
whatever.
daily.
One more
Yeah.
refurb, and they would have just covered the
Alien,
whole
but with
Footlight Parade cake, though. It was already.
You know, John Carter steals your vehicle. I don't care, whatever.
That's a good point. Yeah, like a different concept.
Yeah, I think I would have enjoyed that more with
Yeah.
that type of concept.
Something for everybody.
Yeah, and I know that they want to showcase the new animation. It is pretty popular with kids.
Yeah.
But I feel like if you had Mickey through the years, and then maybe who have like the last big major scene be the new animation, you could still have had that been showcased and highlighted it in that manner, and still have really dedicated, because this is the first Mickey ride in the park, to show all of Mickey through the years would have been very, very nice. But with that being said, like I said, I enjoy it, but I don't love it.
I think one thing that sets Disney apart is storytelling. And I think the story got kind of lost in this one, so the storytelling's not maybe up to Disney. There are inferior Disney rides that tell way better stories and that stick with people a lot more, right?
It's fair.
But I still think it's worth a ride. I still think people will enjoy it. I understand that a lot of people love the Great Movie Ride. You know, it was sad watching it kind of decline over the last few years of its life. It would have been nice to see them refurbish it, or even change it to an Omni Mover if the problem is the cost of all the act. I don't know what the issue was, but this is it's a good ride. People are going to enjoy it. They had an opportunity to do more, but I think they should be commended for doing well with probably the resources that they were allocated.
Yeah.
The Imagineers did a good job with probably what they were allowed to do.
Yeah, a ride that
Budget-wise.
was fully concepted within the Chapek years. Yeah,
Right.
that's fair. Pete, what are you laughing?
No bread.
No bread. It's
You
You're just ruining
Could have
my
been a
whole
better
monologue.
ride if we had stopped giving away bread a long time
throw
ago.
this
this discussion.
No, everyone wanted to hear us talk about
It
railways.
is
so
true.
we're
All right,
talking
with that being
about
said, I want to keep
railways.
it short and sweet because we have a lot of show.
Do we? It depends if it works.
It'll work. Nick's killing it out here. Nick, you're the man. Just see all the things he's crawling.
Nick
under
is the
tables.
coolest Olive Garden server I've ever
This
met.
is a sweet Orangeburg tie. We can't get social on the tie. That is an Orangeburg tie.
You know where you can get bread? Olive Garden.
He's got some in his pocket.
Endless.
All you can
All right. Here's the deal. Mickey Minnie's Runaway Railway is a ride worth riding. It is a great new concept. We can't have these.
Yes, we've never gone into the cartoon world before.
No, we have, and that's the thing is that and
is
what are you
Pete's
going to do with
elevator
Mickey and
pitch.
Minnie having their own first ride? Yes, we could argue, like you said, that there's probably other things they could have done, but it's fun. The whole family can ride it, which I think is very important with Mickey and Minnie. Everyone's opinion on the actual how they're drawn in this new animation of Mickey and Minnie is weird. I get that too. I'm not that I was the biggest fan, but I did like some of the new things I saw. I like how they kept some of, paid a little bit of homage to the Great Movie Ride by keeping the lobby. And you are going in and out of a movie, if you will, or a movie screen. So that makes a little bit of sense. I don't know. It's not, again, every new ride Disney makes doesn't have to be the greatest ride ever invented. And if you keep that in the back of your mind,
It's an e-ticket, bro.
I know, bro. But listen, it's going to be
This
an easy for a lot of
I'm
people.
gonna
A lot
get
of people are
mean.
going to love
This
this
is
ride.
apologist garbage.
No, it's
Apologist
it's not
garbage.
terrible. It's not a terrible
They are
ride.
the biggest entertainment company in the world. In the world, they created robots.
That
Give me
argument
a
of
break.
like, oh, it doesn't have to be
I'm
good.
tired of this
generation didn't create
argument.
robots. I mean, again,
No, this generation far from created
That's what I'm
robots.
saying.
Yeah,
But-
they can't get things to work.
is it
but-
a fun ride that I would take my family on? Yes. Is it the greatest ride I've ever gone on? No. I'll leave it at that because there's.
There is a high standard for trackless rides. Pooh's Honey Hunt opened in 2000, and people were blown
The Pooh's Honey.
away. Mystic Manor opened 2013, people were blown away. I cried the first time I went on Mystic Manor because I was like, oh my God, they can still do it.
You also cried right before you went on Mickey and Minnie's Runaway, right?
And after too, so you walk out with tears.
I didn't cry after, I was just confused. Just like, what does the bird do? I'm just so, I can't mourn because I'm so confused about this goddamn bird storyline. No idea.
He's cute though.
Chubby! I don't know what he
All right,
does.
so what's your final thoughts? So we can get to this great
Wait,
monologue.
wait a minute, because I gotta.
And then Rise of the Resistance, the first real trackless ride in the United States, blown away.
Yeah, very good.
And now, here we are a couple months later. It's cute.
Yeah, the
Until
argument.
this summer.
The
Yeah.
argument that it doesn't have to be great because it's not an
I
e-ticket.
didn't say
It
great.
is
I
an
didn't say the
e-ticket.
greatest ride ever created.
It's housed
It is in a
like-
giant building.
It's housed in the
It's
park's
giant.
Let me
icon.
correct
Yeah.
myself. I
Yeah.
didn't say that it
Yeah.
doesn't have to be great. It has to be great, and I think it's great. I think
No.
this will be good for families.
Well,
for
if
years.
you're okay with
I'm not-
park
no, I'm-
icon rides being just okay, you'll love the
I'm
new
not.
spaceship
I'm
bird.
really not. I'm gonna be really. That's
I thought you said you weren't gonna give away the
Don't get
monologue.
it started now.
I love Big Bird. I'm just saying it's not the greatest ride they ever built was my comment. Like when they opened Rise, I thought this is the new standard. This is the greatest ride they have put together in one package.
It didn't need to be the greatest ride ever, but it needed to wow people. And I think everyone would be like, oh, it's cute.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean anything. It means it's fine. It's okay.
I like the bird.
And it is in the center of the park. It's an icon attraction. It's not a Fantasyland dark ride, but that's what it's equivalent to. It's cute.
It's the first thing you see when you physically walk down the path. So I feel like that has to be in the building, in the symbol of the park, basically. It has to be the attraction to go see.
Just like it's tough to be a bug.
Oh, that's terrible.
wait a
When are we getting
minute.
started? If you have to have
Wait
the
a
ride,
minute.
if the park icon has to be good, it's something to be a bug is the greatest feeling of all time.
All right, the entrance is like way off to the side.
Myth busted.
Get into this.
It should be.
That
I'm
was
saying
so
it should
good.
be.
I hate you so
Right.
much, Eric.
I take everything back.
All right, let's wrap up this discussion.
I
please.
just don't.
stand corrected.
Yeah. It's fine. It's cute. People will like it. It's not going to last forever. I think the cartoon style says that.
It's
I
gonna
think-
fall apart.
Well, that too. Today the carpet was already off the floor. It was, and the wall was peeling, and they still use
pre-painted
the
rust on the
decal
rails.
walls. I don't understand the decal walls. It's just fine. I just think for a trackless ride, I think it's very disappointing. I think it's really disappointing that it doesn't have a big wow to it. I think that is Disney's job. I think no matter what the attraction is, there's some sort of wow. Even like the charming ones. I think people go on like Casey Jr. Circus Train. They're wowed by like just the intimate charm of a ride like that, or Alice in Wonderland at Disneyland. And I think it doesn't have the charm and it doesn't have the e-ticket wow. It falls in between, and falling in between means it has nothing of meaning. It doesn't charm and it doesn't wow, which are I think the two ways a Disney ride is successful. I think you do one of those two things. Sometimes you do both.
How would you, just out of curiosity, this is just for fun, like if you had to rank, say, your top 5 rides just at Hollywood Studios, where would it fall?
There's 5 rides at Hollywood Studios.
It's
All right,
above
like, you have
aliens
both-
whirling
here's what I was
saucers.
thinking in my head, right? You have both Star Wars. You have the new Mickey Minnie Runaway Railway. You have Slinky Dog.
You have to
You have
Those
Nice
are
thinking.
and you have
Rock and roll.
Rock and Roller Coaster. So like out of those, because those are the ones that hold the longest wait times, where would this rank?
Rise, Tower.
I agree so far. And then
Toy
it's
Story
got to be
Mania.
Mickey and Minnie, I think.
Star Tours.
Oh God! All right, I thought this was an intelligent question.
Star Tours has
It's a
more and better
screen-based, you're in a 3D movie
animatronics.
theater. It's a 3D movie theater.
It's a 3D movie theater.
It's,
Yeah, but it
Star
has
Tours
the
sucks.
charm. Like it's well written.
Oh God! All right, forget
I understand what's going on in it.
Forget I asked.
I care about the characters in it.
Okay.
It's funny, unlike the cartoon ride that I didn't laugh at a thing in.
Okay. So then Star Tours. Where else? Where would this fall then? Keep going until
Next, probably. Probably number 4.
All right. So it would land at number 4.
Listen to the
It's above
to
Falcon.
the puppets.
I would agree it's above Falcon. I agree it's above Falcon.
Technically, I like Rock and Roller Coaster more, but I'm going for quality.
Yeah.
I'd rather
Rock
ride
and Roller
Rock and Roller
Coaster's
Coaster. It is, but
It's fun. It goes upside
it's
down in
fun
the dark,
trash.
so I like
no,
it.
but I
it's
love
no-
the bad pre-show.
Yeah, the
though.
bad
Like,
pre-show
it's-
is amazing.
Anyway.
All right. I think
don't
we've
know.
said it all.
Probably. Go ride it for yourself. Figure out if
Yeah,
you like
go
it.
ride it. It's worth a ride.
But yeah. Wait till we do the Ratatouille show. It's gonna be great. If you like Tom yelling about Runaway Railway, you'll love. You know. All right. Well, thank you. Colleen's making snide remarks from in the puppet theater.
The puppet theater's not happy right now. Just cut to the puppet theater,
Puppet
saying
theater.
I'm gonna quit.
Next show
There
is
we
just
go.
a blank wall.
There it is. Yeah!